For a long time, psychology was mainly concerned with explaining what does not work: neuroses, traumas, pathologies, deviant behaviors. Human beings were almost always described from the lack, from the failure, or from the wound. If you are interested in psychology and personal development, subscribe to the channel and like this video. Join us in this analysis about Abraham Maslow's proposal and his vision of personal realization. Abraham Maslow broke that frame with an uncomfortable proposal. Perhaps the problem is not just what we lack, but what we avoid becoming. His warning about unhappiness resonates as a diagnosis rather than as a simple advice. This quote does not invite to be overcome, but rather alerts to an internal choice. Maslow does not speak of incapacity, but of the conscious decision not to assume responsibilities or deploy capacities. According to Maslow, this choice does not generate relief but chronic discomfort. It is a persistent unhappiness, difficult to explain, that feels like a half-lived life. Maslow gave name to the phenomenon of fear of his own greatness, known as the Jonah complex. This fear is disguised as prudence and wisdom, but it can be a form of renunciation. Psychologists observe that many people do not fail because of incapacity, but because of fear of assuming their own potential. This flight to a smaller life can offer short-term security. Unhappiness, according to Maslow, is not a punishment but a consequence of betraying oneself. When the impulse to growth is blocked, symptoms of discomfort arise. Maslow explores these ideas in his book, The Fair Reaches of Human Nature. In it, he goes into the highest levels of human nature and the central elements of psychological health. One of Maslow's most uncomfortable criticisms is towards the notion of normality. Adapting without growing can be another form of disease that represses the essential. The question that arises is, to what extent am I living below what I know it could be? Not to be better than others, but to be consistent with myself. Maslow's warning remains valid. We don't always suffer for what we lack, but because of what we avoid becoming.